It's day 10 of testimony in the trial for Colorado mom who's accused of brutally murdering her stepson and then dumping his body hundreds of miles away in Florida. Letecia Stauch is charged with murder in the first degree. She has pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity. On the stand now is senior crime scene investigator Elisa Berrisford. Let's get you back inside of the courtroom.
If I may I stand?
Absolutely. Just make sure when you stand up, because you're away from the microphone, that the furthest juror can hear you.
So there is a stain that is just past the reaches of the scale tape, and it's going to be on the baseboard, kind of over here on the lower left-hand corner of the photograph.
And I'm going to have you stay there for just a moment. All of those white rectangular stickers, are those your evidence stickers that you placed that are below and inside of that yellow road mapping tape?
Yes.
What about the white things that we see above the road mapping tape?
Those are wall decorations that were there prior to my arrival.
So those have nothing to do with your analysis of this scene, correct? Okay. You mentioned the height and I'm going to use the word enormity. Did that surprise you for this particular scene?
It did.
Why?
At that point, we really had no indication of what the cause of death could be. So something like this is a lot more, for lack of a better word, violent than I expected to see.
Did this indicate to you that there had been a significant bloodletting that occurred in this bedroom?
Yes.
Did these stains lend themselves to one pattern? We talked about the other patterns earlier. Did these lend to one pattern, or were there multiple different patterns potentially?
So because of the cleaning that was involved, we really couldn't say that it was from a specific pattern. If you think of a photograph, which is made up of a lot of tiny little pixels, right? If you have all of the pixels together, you can see what the picture is and what it means. If you only have 50 pixels and they're randomly spread across a photograph, you're not going to be able to tell what may actually be in that photo.
Were there some of these blood stains that showed potentially different directionality?
Yes.
Can you show us a couple of examples of that, just so that we understand what you're talking about? And then again, just tell me which exhibit number would be best for you to point to for that.
Exhibit 572.
Okay, so let's publish 572. Okay, so we've got 572 displayed on the screen behind you. And again, if it might be best to just stand up and point to different things so that the jury can see what it is you're talking about. What is it that we're looking at in 572?
So in this photograph, there are 3 or 4 tiny little spatter stains. So these are going to be this one here down at the bottom. We have 2 near the scale sticker and then 1 a little bit farther out. Now for spatter stains, especially elliptical spatter stains, we can usually tell directionality based off of what we call the tail. So as blood hits a surface, it's going to elongate, and then kind of what's left over is going to create what looks like a tail, and that's going to tell us the direction it was moving. In this specific photograph, we have a couple of different directionalities. So this lower stain is going to have a downward directionality. You can see it comes to a point there at the bottom of the stain. That's going to be the tail. This stain up here closest to the scale sticker has an upward directionality, and it's upward from left to right. And we can tell that by the tail that's at the upper corner of the stain.
When we have these types of photographs and blood stain patterns existing in a scene where there's different directionalities, what does that tell you as an expert in blood stain pattern analysis?
That tells me that there's probably more than one event that's happening to produce these stains.
Was there evidence in this particular scene that there had been efforts to clean up the blood staining that was on the walls and baseboard?
Yes.
Can you point us to some photographs in those photos that are in front of you that will help us understand what you mean by that?
Um, 586.
Okay, so we're going to put 586 on the board behind you. Okay, so just for orientation purposes, this is the power outlet that's lower, closer to the floor on that east wall in Gannon's bedroom.
Correct.
All right, so what are we looking at here that shows you there's some indication that cleaning had occurred in this bedroom?
So there's actually two things within this photograph. The first, we can see a visible blood stain right here in the center. The edges of this stain are very blurred, meaning it's not well defined. It's been altered in some way. So it's probably been cleaned. At the same time, we have this line here, kind of in between the socket and the sticker scale, that is a diluted blood stain. If you think of when you're moving your furniture after you've been walking around for a while, and all of a sudden you realize how dirty your carpet is because you're looking at the nice clean carpet versus the dirty carpet, same theory. We have the section of wall that was covered by the plate that is clean, and the line that defines that diluted blood stain right next to it.
Is there also some...
We do have to step aside for a quick break, but we're going to hit the pause button so you won't miss a moment there inside of that Colorado courtroom. I also want to bring back in our guest really quick, Daryl Cohen, here in the studio with us. Your criminal defense attorney watching along with us. What do you think about this witness, a crime scene investigator on the stand in front of this jury?
Well, Julia, I'm also a former assistant DA and a former assistant state attorney. I love it. I love the way she's connecting with the jury. I love the pointer that she's using. She's doing everything correctly, and she is connecting with the jury, and I believe they are connecting with her.
And she's talking about the cleanup job that could go to this mental state that's going to be so important in this case. We're going to talk more about it when we return. Stay with us.
Tonight on Closing Arguments,
there will be justice. Now, to what extent, I don't know.
Testimony in the Doomsday Cult Mom murder trial back underway. The state continues building their case by calling those closest to Lori Vallow Daybell. We'll unpack their testimony and what it all means for the case moving forward. Court TV and our teams are reporting live from Idaho with the very latest.
Closing Arguments, tonight at 8/7 Central, only on Court TV.
Welcome back to Court TV Live. I'm Julia Janae. Our Court TV crew is on the ground in Boise, Idaho this afternoon for the long-awaited trial for Lori Vallow Daybell. The Doomsday Cult mom has pleaded not guilty in connection to the deaths of her two children, you see right there, and her husband's first wife. Prosecutors say the trouble began when Lori met Chad Daybell back in 2018 after the couple connected over their extreme religious beliefs, which would set in motion a plot to kill. Court is currently on a lunch break, and right now they'll be finishing up testimony from Lori's oldest son, Colby Ryan. There were jail calls that were being played inside of that courtroom, and that will continue. And we'll have a live report from our Court TV correspondents coming up with the latest details at the top of the hour. Now we'll turn our attention back to Colorado for more testimony in the stepmom murder trial. The prosecutors have been laying out their case against Letecia Stauch, who they say knowingly killed her 11-year-old stepson back in January of 2020. Stauch is pleading not guilty by reason of insanity. Let's get you back into court now with more testimony from the senior crime scene investigator.
On that outlet in the screw area that would hold the plate on there in that picture as well.
There is.
Does that also potentially lead to a conclusion that cleaning had occurred?
Yes.
Okay. The where were Well, first of all, we can see texture of the wall here, correct?
Yes.
Is the walls, both the south and the east wall, similarly textured as what we see in people's 586?
Yes.
Were the majority of the blood spots or stains in the recesses of that wall texture?
That's hard to say. There actually was a fair amount of stains that were on the top of the surface, but there were some that were caught within the crevices.
Okay. Some point, did you go back out to this particular scene with a person by the name of Tom Griffin?
I did.
What was that for?
Mr. Griffin was doing a bloodstain pattern analysis on this case and wanted to examine the bloodstains further. So I went out to assist with his examination and any further documentation that he required.
Do you know whether or not he actually prepared and submitted an expert report in this case?
I do.
Okay. Your Honor, may I approach with People's Exhibit 679?
You may.
Show you what's been marked as People's Exhibit 679. I'm going to rely on your intuition here. Can you tell what People's Exhibit 679 is?
Yes.
How can you tell that?
Based upon the barcode label that I prepared and attached to this packaging.
Is this an item that you actually seized or collected while you were out there on February 5th, I think it was?
No, this is not.
I'm sorry, what date was it that you collected that item?
I collected this on February 13th.
February 13th, thank you. Is this a sheet that was collected?
It is.
A sheet from where?
This was a bed sheet that was collected from the bedroom closet in the southeast basement bedroom.
Is this the same bedroom that we've been talking about?
Yes.
Why did you collect that sheet?
We were given an indication that there was shark print bed sheets, that we were missing the set. And so it was something that was important. And so we found the bed sheet within the laundry basket and collected it.
Subsequent to the time that you collected this item, has that bag or evidence collection bag been opened by somebody else?
Yes.
How do you know that?
Based upon the additional evidence seals, I can see that it's been opened a couple of times.
Okay. To know that the item that's inside that bag is the same item that you collected back on that date in February, would you need to open that bag?
Yes.
Okay. There are some plastic gloves to your right, and there should be scissors there as well.
It is. Going to my own gloves, because those are going to be extremely large.
Is that the bed sheet that you collected on that date?
Yes,
Is it in the same or substantially the same condition today as the day that you collected it?
it is.
At this time, I'd move for admission of People's Exhibit 679.
Defense? No objection. Exhibit 679 will be admitted. Go ahead.
And so was the purpose of collecting this item just to compare it to potentially other bedding that may be found at a later date, or what was the purpose?
That would be a question better asked for the detectives.
Okay.
I collected it for anything that needed to be done in the future.
Okay, so a detective just says, hey, get that, and you do it.
Yes.
Okay. Can I have just a moment, Your Honor?
You may.
One final thing, did you find any shell casings in that bedroom?
No.
Did you find any knife or sharp objects that could have been used to stab somebody?
No.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Cross-examination, Mr. Cook.
Thank you. Hi, how are you?
Good.
I think we've met before several times in the last few months, so good to see you again. I just have a couple questions for you. So your testimony to Mr. Allen was that from the staining, the blood pattern, that you think that this was a very violent event?
Yes.
Okay. And actually that it was multiple events?
Correct.
What do you mean by multiple events? I think I know what you mean, but maybe the jury doesn't. What do you mean by that?
Multiple events could be multiple blunt force impacts. It could mean, in this case, different mechanisms. The bloodstains that we saw were indicative of everything from a gunshot wound to blunt force and sharp force injuries.
Multiple events could have been a shooting and multiple stab wounds.
Could.
The knife. Okay. And also, in addition to being very violent, multiple events, that the blood was coming from different directions.
Correct.
Just all coming from one way. It was.
Yes.
You said you had the head and the tail facing one way, the head and the tail facing another way with another stain. So it was coming from everywhere.
From different directions, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Redirect.
I don't think I have anything, Your Honor.
Do any of the jurors have any questions for Ms. Berrisford? All right, looks like we have one. If you would retrieve that, Mr. Allen, and counsel approach, please.
While they do that sidebar, I'm going to bring in Daryl Cohen, who's here with me, and we're watching along. Unique in this jurisdiction where the judge asks the jury if they have a question, and they do. Would you want that if you were a criminal defense attorney in this case?
Two ways of spelling the word no. One is N-O, and that would be me, N-O, or K-N-O-W. So the jury wants to know, and I would say N-O. Do not let the jury ask questions. Try to keep them focused on what we, that is the prosecution, and we, that is the defense, want them to hear, and don't confuse the issue.
Let's listen to what they have to say. It usually gives us a lot of insight into what they're talking about, or thinking about, rather.
Ms. Berrisford, we're not sure if this is a question that is right for you or for a different witness, so I'm going to ask it. Does anything about the bloodstain patterns at the crime scene suggest a chronological order of events?
So because a lot of information was cleaned away, we really couldn't, or I couldn't tell a chronological order for any of it.
All right, I will allow reasonable follow-up as to that question. Only prosecution.
Only just that the bloodstain patterns that you were seeing were consistent with all those different mechanisms, either a gunshot, a knife or sharp force, or blunt force,
Correct.
or combination of any of those three.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Cook.
Thank you.
Ms. Berrisford, you may step down. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Questioning complete for the senior crime scene investigator there. Still with us discussing this is Daryl Cohen, criminal defense attorney. Daryl, I've got two questions about the questions that we're hearing in this case from the jury and the defense. Let's start with the jury. What do you think they were thinking when they're asking about the chronological process and when these multiple events happened to little Gannon?
Hard to get in one person's mind, much less the entire jury. But if I were speculating, and obviously I am, I would say they want to know if this was meticulous. Did she do this stabbing, shooting randomly, or was it done piece by piece? Now, one thing that they didn't ask but was brought up by the prosecution was, did you find any shell casings? Did you find any blood? That tells me, and should be telling the jury, this was meticulous, it was thought out. She was very meticulous in what she did. That doesn't show a mind that doesn't know what's going on.
Doesn't know right from wrong.
Does know right from wrong.
Really quick follow-up with the defense's question. Asking this witness, was this a violent event? Knowing that it was, and that was her answer, was this multiple events? Was this sharp force trauma, blunt force trauma, gunshot? How can that help the defense?
That's a very good question that I can't figure out an answer to. I would not have asked that question. I would have let it go. Thank you very much, Your Honor. No further questions. I don't think it can help the defense at all because it brings the jury back to continually the stabbing, the shooting, the cleanup. All of this doesn't help the defense in my view.